This is Christopher Carrington with GMUstudent.com, and today we're going to keep rolling through and we're going to make another tutorial that is going to focus on the select statement. So just a little update for the last tutorial. I might have a little bit of different information from you guys. I went through and I inserted all of the Harry Potter books into our database, into our table of books. So if you wanted to do that, that would be great practice. Maybe doing some of them in MySQL and doing some of them in the try block, and then maybe even creating a method that you can call for every single insert. You just want to play around with a whole bunch of different stuff because every scenario isn't going to be 100% the same, so the more practice you can get, the better. So if you guys want to follow along with me on point, then you can pause this tutorial and get all of your Harry Potter books in there. And if you just want to learn the select statement and keep rolling on through, then you can do that too. So today we are going to learn how to stop coming to MySQL and having to click select star from books and clicking go and to see this information. And like if we selected name and author, just as a little example, and you click go, you'll only see name and author. But what we really want to do is we want to select that information, get it in the main method, and display it in the console. So actually have that information. Now we get into where JDBC gets really cool. And it doesn't get that much more complicated from here, but what we are going to do in this tutorial will be a little bit different, and we will introduce some new topics. So pay attention, get out some notes, and follow along. So one of the first things that we are going to do is we are going to import something new. If you remember, besides the exceptions, we have connection, we have statement, and we have driver manager. Remember, connection and driver manager help us establish that connection, and then statement is what we use to write that statement. So just like how connection has a little help, now we're going to give a little help to statement. Anytime you want to get information from the database and do a select statement, you are going to have to import this. So type import java.sql.result set. What this will do is it will take the information from statement and will put it in a result set. So it's like how connection helps out driver manager. Now result set is going to help out statement. So outside of your try block, let's say result set is assigned null. That's step one. So now we declare our result set variable, but it's not initialized to anything. And then let's close that in our finally. So let's highlight one of these guys and hit enter and paste it, and just paste in result set so that we know we will always open it at some point in here. We're probably going to use it, and then at the end of the program we always close it. Just good programming. And now let's get rid of all of this stuff after connection. And we're going to redo this. So all we really know is that, okay, we want to get information from the database, and we know that we do need to have a connection established. No matter what, we're always going to have a connection established. That hasn't changed. And all we've done is we've imported result set, declared the variable result set, and closed the result set. So now let's use the result set. Well, just like I said, how result set uses statement. So first, you are going to have to start the same way. So type statement is assigned connection dot create statement. And now you want to use result set. So say result set is assigned statement dot, and then type execute query. So just like how before, how we used to have, what we would usually do after this point is we would say statement.execute, and it would just be a regular query. And then it would return that query. Well, basically what we're doing now is we're executing a specific query and we're putting it into the result set. Okay? So it's kind of similar to what we did before, but before we were just executing some kind of command and we didn't want the values back. But here, we actually want to return those values after we get them. Kind of cool. So what we do in the execute query is we write the query that we actually want. So let's just type in select star from books. And this will establish the connection with YouTube. It will create the statement. It will execute this query, and then all the information it gets will be returned to result set. So we're obviously going to have to use result set if we want to look at that information and display it in the console. So type this and then I'll explain it. While result set dot next what we just made here is a while loop, and what this will do is, as we said, we took that query and we returned everything to this result set variable. Now this while loop will say, while result set has another value in it, do something. So basically what it will do is it will say the very first time, while result set has something. Is there something in this column? Yes. So in the while loop, we'll do something with it. Then it'll come down to this column. Is there something in there? Yes. Do something with it. Is there something in here? Yes. Do something with it. And then when it gets down here, it will say while result set dot next. It will look if there's something else. It'll see there's not anything else, and it'll jump out of the while loop. So using the dot next command, we'll say go down to the next one and see if we have anything. If we do, let's do something with it. So now in the while loop, we're going to write what we want to do with it. So let's say string, or type in long ID is assigned result set dot get long ID. What this is saying is go to that result set at that in that column. So select star from books. Okay, so it's saying in this column of result set, go to the ID column, and return the ID. So if we said system.out.println ID right now, it would print out 1. So let's try it. System.out.println ID. And the reason we said get long is because we are telling this that we are expecting ID to be a long integer. If we said get int, then if ID was too big of a value, it would return an error. So even though ID looks like an int now, what happens if it's like 8678729, like it's a long integer? So that's why it's better to use .getLong. So if we print this out, it will print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what it's doing is it's going to this one and printing out 1. Then it's going to next, printing out 2, next printing out 3, and printing out all of the columns. How cool is that? So that was just the example, but let's keep rolling through and print out just as if this was a select statement, so print it out just like this. So what's the next value that we're going to want to get? It's going to be the name. So we say string name is assigned result set dot get string name. And the reason we say ID and name is because the name of the columns are ID and name. So let's do a get string for author and publisher. String author is assigned result set dot get string author, and string publisher is assigned result set dot get string and type publisher. Okay, so now we have effectively gotten all the information that we wanted from the database and assigned it into the rows of these variables that we'd assign. So now if we want to print out all those variables each time, let's just say system.out.printf, and let's put our variables in here: ID, name, author, and publisher. And let's say ID, name, author, publisher. and let's say percent, what's long? Percent O backslash T, percent S backslash T, percent S backslash T, percent S. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, and let's go to a new line each time. Okay, so right now we have ID 1, name, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, author, J.K. Rowling, publisher, Scholastic. Go down to the next line, ID 2, name, all of this information. If this printf looks a little weird to you, then all you would need to write is system.out.println, and you can literally do the same thing, and you would just concatenate your information with a plus. So if we just wanted to say something like that, then it would print out ID, 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 ID. The same exact thing. So anytime you want to select information from the database, you have to declare your import with result set, declare your variable result set, and then close the result set. And then it starts out the same. You still create your statement, but then you need to say result set is assigned statement.execute query, select star from books, get all of the information you want to get from the results set, and then do whatever you would like to do. Alright? So I hope that makes perfect sense to everyone. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and I hope it was useful.